The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well in addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot, and we were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low, because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways, but the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and byproducts fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl, these big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues and said, don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically. He never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. Now, President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where he paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
It's all the stuff that goes into making the worst kinds of food. It's not beets and broccoli.
So as much as we might have reached a really dangerous situation with Monsanto controlling large quantities of seeds and genetically modified seeds, and they own the rights to those seeds, by the way, as well. So if you accidentally grow their seeds on your farm without a license, you go to jail, or they confiscate your farm.
A Canadian scientist has been caught in an Aaron Brockovich-like moment when he's asked to defend that chemical against links to cancer rates in Argentina. Take a look.
Do not believe that glyphosate in Argentina is causing increases in cancer. You can drink a whole quart of it and it won't hurt you.
You want to drink some? We have some here.
I'd be happy to, actually, but not really. But
not really.
I know it wouldn't hurt me.
If you say so, I have some glyphosate.
I'm not stupid.
Okay. So you.
No, but I know
it's dangerous.
I know people try to commit suicide and it fail fairly regularly.
Tell the truth.
It's not dangerous to humans. No, it's not.
So are you ready to drink one glass of glyphosate?
I'm not an idiot.
Food is making us sick. And the reason for this is because we no longer eat healthy food. Because of what's been happening, the rising costs that people don't grow their food anymore, and the rising costs of production and labor, fast food has become a very quick and easy way for us to get fed. And that is a huge problem for the world, because fast food is not even food. We don't even know what to call it anymore. If you look at some of the examples of some of the major brands where they've taken the hamburgers and food that they create and they leave them exposed for years and years, not even the bugs and the bacteria get to the food. Nothing eats that. And this is what we buy and put into our bodies.
In Europe, only 5% of the food is genetically modified. Here, it's 70%.
We are poisoning ourselves voluntarily because we don't know what's going on. Well, now that you know this, you'll start thinking about this very differently. And this poisoning and attack on humanity goes a lot further. Anything else we didn't agree to as human beings? The fluoride in our water that makes us sick on every possible level, on so many levels.
This is iHerb, the world's biggest
And many levels, especially our pineal gland. The pineal gland in our brains that is affected by fluoride in the water.
We're all on medication right now. Did you use toothpaste with fluoride today? It blocks your pineal gland. And they put children on it, and we put our kids on it. You know, we put it's inside the deodorants that we use. It's all these things to create like a disconnect.
Why would they want to make us sick? It's very obvious. Follow the money. Who controls the medicine? The bankers, once again. They would make us sick because medicine is a huge industry. By keeping people sick, you keep selling them medicine that makes them even more sick. Just look at the side effects of the medicine. Take out the leaflet out of the next time you buy some medicine, read the side effects on it. Just reading it makes you sick.
So, are we patients or just pawns in their profit-driven game?
It's crazy, right? It's the third leading cause of death. And yet, when the government makes noise about messing with people's insurance, everybody freaks out. And that's a whole nother thing to talk about, isn't it? Because what is medical insurance? When you buy medical insurance, what are you doing? You're betting that you're going to get so sick, you will not be able to afford it. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And then, so you pay good money every month to gain access to a system of medicine that's the third leading cause of death in the United States. We need our heads examined, quite frankly.
It seems
The women have never been required to register for the draft, but that could soon change thanks to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Mike Emanuel live in Washington with more. Hi, Mike.
Martha, good morning. The Senate version of the National Defense Authorization Act, which sets out military and national security priorities, would require women to register for selective service. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley is not a fan, writing on X, quote, "I'm not voting for any defense bill that forces my daughter to register for the draft. Not now, not ever." And he's not alone. Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy also reacting on X, quote, "You can go straight to hell over my dead body." The argument for women being a part of the draft comes from experts such as the National Commission on Military, National, and Public Service. It concludes, quote, "This is a necessary and fair step, making it possible to draw on the talent of a unified nation in a time of national emergency." Now, there are two different versions of this bill, one in the House, one in the Senate, so it's possible women in the draft could get dropped as lawmakers iron out the differences. Martha?
Mike, thank you very much. Mike Emanuel in DC.
First of all praises to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakadash. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters in recognition to observing this day for worshiping the Most High. Sundown this evening to sundown tomorrow evening. My people, let's get some rest, worship, and praises in to the Father Yahweh, the omnipotent God of gods. Because, after all, it is a commandment throughout all of our dwellings, wherever we are and whatever we are doing. And that's just what it is. Today's lesson is going to be pretty much Babylon has fallen. You understand? And that's exactly what it is. This country alone, let alone the whole entire world, this particular country, is a joke. And that's just what it is. We got Biden and we got probably soon to be the next president, again, President Trump. Mind you, has already been convicted. He's basically a felon now running for office again and probably won't get in. That's a joke in itself. You understand? But they sitting up here going back and forth, and I have to admit Trump seems more coherent than Biden, you know. But they're going back and forth. talking about fentanyl and immigration and all that kind of stuff. But what they're not talking about is the way our food, our water, and our air is polluted with poison from the government. And that's basically what it all boils down to. They're not talking about things like that. They don't care about our health. Because why? They are prospering off of our health. Keep us sick. Then on top of that, well, for all of the women, the feminists that believe, well, in women's rights and women's live, and we can do everything a man can do, but we can do it better. You gonna get a chance to prove that. See, there was a double-edged sword when you was running about saying those things. You understand? It was a double-edged sword. Because now they are going to hold your feet to the fire and make you register and fight alongside men in a war. You're not ready for that. Men ain't even ready for what kind of war is coming. World War III is coming. Okay? And it's going to be the war that leads to Armageddon. Armageddon is when the Most High will come to plead for his people. You understand? That's just what it is. So yeah, you was sold a bridge, a not so bill of goods, if you understand what I'm saying, when they had you up there marching for women's rights and what have you, especially the sisters, our women. Because none of those things affected you, what white women was actually talking about at that time. They just used you for numbers. That's basically what that was all about. They didn't care about you. Our rights and what we're trying to fight for has nothing to do with theirs. And we have to do this as a nation. That's black man, black woman, and black children. Has nothing to do with what they were doing. Okay? But nevertheless, let's get into the lesson today. We're going to start over here in Revelations 18 verse 2. The title of this lesson right here. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is what that angel said. Big angel said that. We haven't quite came to this part yet, but Babylon has fallen. Look what we have in control. Look at what we are going through as a people. The children of Israel wasn't supposed to live like this. We never were supposed to learn sickness and death. We never were supposed to be ruled over by people, well, some people that's in the Most High's eyes regarded as spit on the ground. Okay? We never were supposed to be, but because we were disobedient, this great thing befell us. You understand? And that's just what it is. Let's go over here in Proverbs 29:2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Well, are we not mourning? Are we not lamenting? So that tells you right now who's in control. The wicked is. If they wasn't in control, we wouldn't be fed poison. Our air wouldn't be polluted, neither would our water be polluted. This is basically what we're living right now. A hell above ground and above spiritual ground as well. This is not living. This is not life right here, what we're going through. The wicked is in authority right now. And they over here babbling back and forth about things that really don't matter. That's what it boils down to. Let's go over in Jeremiah 28 verse 8. Now, this is going to be allegorical from the Hamashiach when he comes and break the yoke of King Nebuchadnezzar, whatever his name is, off of the children of Israel's back, neck. Okay? Jeremiah 28 verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Okay? So we're going to read all the way down so we can get a better understanding and you'll understand the allegorical meaning of what I'm telling you here. Now, start here in Jeremiah 28 verse 5. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah, in the presence of the priest, and in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Lord, even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. The Lord do so. The Lord perform thy words, which thou hast prophesied, to bring again the vessels of the Lord's house, and all that is carried away captive from Babylon into this place. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in the ears of all the people. Verse 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great nations of war and of evil and of pestilence. These are the very things that we are living to this day, people. This is what our people were actually going through when these scriptures was written. Okay? To continue, the prophet which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord have truly sent him. Then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck. Now, here's the allegorical meaning of what I'm saying. Hananiah, aka what I'm saying using Yahweh Shai, took the yoke off of Jeremiah's. In Jeremiah's, let's say that they are the children and descendants of the children of Israel, off of his neck and break it. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, even so will I break the yoke off of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, from the neck of all nations within the space of 2 full years. And the prophet Jeremiah went his way. So see, as it is, Hananiah was actually Yahweh Shai in a sense. I'm not saying this, that's exactly what it was, but in a sense, allegorical he was. This is what's going to happen when the Hamashiach comes back and deliver us from this mess that's going on right now. We are in a mess. And voting for any man ain't going to save you. It's not. It's not going to save you. Trump sitting up here, wanting to make America great again. What do we mean by that? Because see, when the kind of great again, when he's talking about was when our people really was catching it, even worse than it is now. Slowly but surely, the Most High has delivered us and brought us up out of a lot of turmoil that we've been in. It is better. It is better. If we could go back and talk to some of our ancestors, let's say from way back in the, let's go back to the 40s, for example. They will tell you it's much better than where we live now and what we're living in this day than what was for them back in those days. Okay? But here's the deal. When it's all said and done, the Most High says this in Ezekiel 35 verse 2. And we're going to read this all the way down, I guess, 15. I think. Let me look. I don't have much time. Yeah, we'll take it down there. And it reads, verse 1, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is Edomite territory. Okay? Verse 3, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Why is the Most High saying this about Idumea, Esau, Edomites, which I believe are actually Kenites, because they change their names so much, you know what I'm saying? But let's just go along with Edomites. Here in verse 5, he said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Okay? Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not since thou have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. Okay, so basically this place is going to be destroyed, and the evil rulers that's in control is going to be destroyed along with it. You're going to be consumed along with it. And that's what it says. To continue here in verse 8, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thine hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Okay? I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Okay? This is going to be the day of Armageddon right here. Okay? Prophesied all the way back from the days of Ezekiel to now. This has yet to come to pass, people. Verse 10, because thou hast said, these two cities and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And y'all know they hate us because of what? Envy. They hate us, and that's what it all boils down to. That's what that perpetual hate is all about. Because we are the Most High's people, and they not. And they stole our identity. They hate us. This is just like, the movie, The Man in the Iron Mask, where it was two twin brothers. One of the brothers hated the other. He put the one that was supposed to inherit, the kingdom, that whole kingship. He put him away and locked him in shackles and put an iron mask over his face and took his place. But it came back around. Who exactly was who, and what you think happened to the evil one? Y'all check the movie out sometime. It's called The Man in the Iron Mask. Leonardo DiCaprio, he played both of the parts. But to continue here, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. See, lie, wasn't none given to you, you took it. You took it by murder and rape and thievery. Let's continue. Verse 13, thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea. Idumea, Mount Seir, all Edomites, okay? / Kenites. I'm putting that part in there. And because it all started with Cain, people. And Cain's children and lineage is what's ruling the earth to this day. Don't let them fool you. To continue, in conclusion, and all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So there it is. These people are not getting away with anything. Everything that they have done will come back on them tenfold. And that's just what it is, people. Now, I hope I said something to stimulate your spiritual growth. And I hope you guys found this lesson edifying. All praise to the Father Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.